to us. I'm still making notes.
Start with Tim then. Okay.
Nancy, what's the new name for Dawn?
Doris?
Thank you.
I never knew it as Dorm, so I had to think a minute.
Okay. Made more sense when you were Dawn. Years after the expiration of the policy. Just the one now. After the expiration of the policy. Yeah. We've been in the gyms since the eighties. Early eighties. No, late eighties. So, they hold the record. We haven't, but they hold the record.
How about other records? Is that, so there's different years with different records?
This is just a record retention, so we can apply through this division at the state.
So it's not codified in statutes, possibly?
I believe so.
I'll ask the answer.
Oh, yeah, so like here, there's a citation on some of these things, where they went in and when they registered. Grant file, years, has a statute, that goes how long, everything else.
Tim,
is a-
I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nancy? You can go. Okay, the Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, 7 p.m. work session meeting of the Wyckoff Township Committee is now in session. Roll call, please.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. Melchiong?
Here.
Ms. Rubenstein is absent. Mr. Shanley?
Here.
And Mayor Bunchta.
Here.
This regular work session meeting of the Wyckoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk and has been posted on our municipal website. Also, a copy has been emailed to the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald News, all newspapers having a general circulation throughout the Township of Wyckoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers.
Thank you, Nancy. Can we confirm that at long last everything's been signed
Yes, everything
and
is
reviewed,
signed.
so we're good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because we don't have another meeting for several weeks, and if anything else comes in, call, and you need a signature on, call me, and I'll
Oh.
stop in, someone else will stop.
Thank
I'll
you,
get
Mayor.
someone else, okay. All right, I'll take a motion to open the meeting for a 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker for the public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the Township of Wyckoff.
So move. Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Bunchta.
Yes. Please step forward to the microphone and make your comment, or call 201-891-7000, extension 2220, if you wish to make a comment. Good evening, Mrs. Toomey, how are you?
Good evening, fine, thank you very much, Mayor. I just wanted to
Just state for the record your name and address,
Of course,
please.
Janet Toomey, I'm at 501A Aspen Lane in Wyckoff, in Spring Meadow Association. I wanted to ask if there are any set rules about dumpsters to be had, or that we should know about. because of the concerns now about rodents and deer and wildlife, period. So, do they have to be covered?
Yes,
Oh, they have to be covered.
they have to have a cover on them, yes.
And is that just at night, Mayor? I would assume it is.
No, I think the
Oh.
cover should be covered whenever they're not in use, having garbage put in them or taken out of them. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I was thinking it should be, I thought in my mind, because of you don't want to get rain in there because it has
Correct.
wood and everything
Correct,
else.
yeah, no, they
Okay.
need to be covered.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, a squirrel or any other rodent,
Yeah,
they're not tightly covered. It can get it, there's always little cracks they can get through to get in there
Yeah.
if they really want to.
yeah. I
So,
figure it's kind of
yeah.
hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but I just wanted to know if there was a general rule.
There
so
is a
that-
rule they need to have a cover on.
That's good. One of our members had asked that.
Yep.
So, thank you
That is
very
the
much.
case.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Seeing and hearing no one else, I move to close public comment.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes,
For an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
thank you. Matt, review the 8 PM agenda, please. There's not much.
There's not much on the 8 PM meeting. There's 4 resolutions, all pretty much standard. Release of an escrow, cancellation of a sewer bill, that's a new house, approval of vouchers, and return of some overpayments. There are 2 motions, which is to approve the Coolidge Elementary School's fundraising and social event, the Coolidge Parents' Night, which will be held at St. Nicholas Street Church, utilizing the previous approved festival tents. This event will be held on October 1st from 5:30 to 9:30 and features a food truck and DJ. The organizers have already secured a social affairs permit from Nancy. And number 2 is to approve Hope Christian Services. If you remember, that is the new name for Eastern Christian Children's Retreat. Fundraising event to be held at Cedar Hill Church on October 8th, 2022 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The event includes 2 food trucks, a pumpkin patch, fall plants, and fall decor. There also is public hearing and further consideration on an amendment to our salary ordinance, specifically having to do with the title of land use administrator, which is the person who runs our planning and zoning board office and assists with engineering. Moving on to the policy action items. As I mentioned before, we were previously out to bid for solid waste recycling and vegetative waste collection services. Bids are due back next Thursday, that's September 29th. We'll be opening them up at 11 o'clock here in the courtroom. We are also out to bid right now as for a competitive contracting solicitation for our renewal of our concession for the marketing of leaves and the operation of our compost facility located adjacent to Abmas Farm. That's a 5-year, we're going out for an up to 5-year contract, and as you recall, it's pretty much a $0 contract. It's not a no bid contract, but it's a $0 contract where it does not cost the town money. We pretty much authorize by contract a lease for the operator to run the site for us. I'm pleased to report that as of September 16th, there were 106 tax accounts still delinquent, which was down significantly from our report 2 meetings ago, and 352, which is down about half of SOAR accounts from our previous meeting. Unfortunately, the State Health Benefits Commission did meet last week. They met on, I believe, September 14th, which is the statutory deadline for them to approve the rates. They met on that date to approve a major increase in the cost of active and retiree health benefit coverage to the tune of upwards of 21.3% for next year. We're not, and I'm just going to say, we don't think this is going to be a one-time increase. They were stagnant for too long. And they drained their surplus down to less than 2 months worth of surplus reserves to operate on. And that's from years of decreases and 0% increases on the state health benefits. So we are currently reviewing the impact, and hopefully for our next meeting we'll know where we can start meeting with the finance committee as to where that's going, how that's going to affect our municipal budget. I've already I've already spoken to the library director, because this is also going to affect her budget. And we have some options that we are talking to our brokers about for the future. Won't be a January 1st if we make any changes, but hopefully we can, maybe we can look into some changes mid-year that might save us a few pennies.
Great.
Due to the number of conflicts this month and the unavailability of some of our professionals, we did have to cancel the Dealing with Wildlife in Wyckoff public information session that was scheduled for Thursday. The road paving is complete. I really want to thank Nancy, Anna, Mary Ellen, and Lenny DeBlock, who really helped manage this program. Nancy's office with Anna and Mary Ellen took all the phone calls from our residents and made all the arrangements for the posting of the notices, and Lenny ran the day-to-day operations of the actual paving program. We were done in roughly 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Work is still progressing on the snack stand near Memorial Field, and as I mentioned at the last meeting, October 18th is the last day to register to vote for the upcoming November general election. And for anybody who is looking for seasonal help, the DPW is still hiring seasonal help and help through our leaf collection season, 20 to 40 hours a week. We can be a little flexible with that. Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30. You must have a valid driver's license. Anybody interested, please visit our website. We say it's through Friday, September 23rd, but we will accept applications if we don't fill all those positions up, and we'll continue. Shredfest was held this past weekend. I heard it was great. The fireworks extravaganza is Saturday, September 24th. Doors open, or gates. The lot opens at 5 p.m. The library will close at noon, and then the whole property will be shut down from noon to about 4 o'clock while the police department does some preparation. Also, Fire Company 3 has their beefsteak fundraiser on Thursday, October 13th at 7 p.m. at St. Nicholas Church. And tickets, I believe, there are limited tickets still available, but you can still get some tickets for that. And that is my report for this evening.
Question?
Thank you, Matt. Question?
Can I ask questions for clarification? Because I'm on the fireworks committee. I know we had a meeting a week or so ago. I didn't have my notes last night when I was at the fire department meeting where they were going over all the logistics, which I'll report on. But they definitely reported to be there at 5:30 for gates opening at 6. So I thought it was 5, but not up to me.
It was supposed to be 5. I'll check with the chief tomorrow.
So I don't care which one it is, as long as people kind of know the left hand, the right hand, and
Okay.
coordinated.
I will check that, because I know.
Because I think you have the food coming in around that time, don't you?
Yes. So gates we've advertised that gates open at 5. So I'll talk with the fire chief. and make
Okay,
sure
that was my
we're-
recollection, but I thought maybe something might have changed. I don't know. So many things changed. Okay, thank you.
Committee reports. Tim, can you start, please?
Sure. Yes, Matt has already covered the fireworks, which will be on Saturday. Looking forward to that. The rec board also met. There were a bunch of things that came up at the rec board. One is they're getting complaints from some of the residents on Van Houten and Markham about the noise that pickleballs make. And the time periods that the people come to play. They'll come first thing, soon as it's light in the morning, they'll be out there hitting the pickleballs. To the point where, one of the residents complained, I can't even sit on my deck and have coffee because of the noise. It's a different sound. Now, Ridgewood dealt with that, so I was gonna ask you, Rob, to kind of to see how Ridgewood dealt with it, because they had problems where people were complaining about pickleball noise. And one of the things that they did was they restricted it till, you can't start till 8 o'clock and it ends at dusk. So that might be one of the things we can do to try to limit the noise. There was another thing about, there was also something that I don't think that they like. They're noise resistant, like they're lower noise balls that might not be as good of balls that they also may also have to use. So that's just one thing as the attorney, I would just ask you to take a look at what the options are.
Tim,
Yes.
if I may, just It's coincidental, I was at the, a week ago, I was down at the complex, I was actually looking at the snack stand, the removal of the tree, see how they were doing. And I did drive by there, this is at 8 o'clock-ish. There had to be 35 cars there, they're all playing pickleball, so maybe they get there so early in the morning, it disturbs the neighbor, I don't know.
Right, you know
But
what,
I was surprised how
pickleball's
many people
become
were there.
very popular.
It has.
You know, and
It
I don't know
really
if they're
has.
from town, or they're from out of town.
They're both, town and
Or
out
they
of
get
town.
approved, they don't get approved. The only time I visited the tennis courts a couple of years ago, and 3 out of 4 people complained, those 3 people were from out of town, so I agree, I think.
Well, there's a lot of towns and also condo associations that have pickleball courts within the association themselves, and one of the main things that they do is put the time restrictions on, especially
Right.
when you could start in the morning.
I think the courts that we use for pickleball, although I haven't really looked at it, from what I'm hearing, it's closest to the homes on being Houghton. I mean, we might want to think that.
Yeah.
Right.
They back right up to it.
Well, they were all full.
Yeah, they
Just
were
so
all.
you know, they were all
They
full.
play on all courts?
At 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I think
So
they're on,
I don't know if they
on
had a
most,
tournament, I don't know if they had a.
so,
But the issue is, well, one's a different sound. If you listen to it, it sounds like there's a contractor put a roof on. But there's a larger frequency of hits too, right? It's just like, it's not,
I would think it's the jibber jabbering, but I don't know.
yeah.
it's pretty, it's loud.
I did see that Ridgewood did approve, I think it was somewhere around $25,000 earlier this year for soundproofing panels. I'd like to see before we investigate that,
Right.
if they work.
It works, yeah.
Yeah, see if they work and also see what they did. One of the things they did was they restricted that you can't start till 8 o'clock in the morning. And one of the complaints was at 6:45, they're already hitting the pickleball and, you know, it's-
The contractors can't
Right.
work at 6 or 6:30.
Yeah.
Usually contracts start at 7 o'clock.
and then, you know, when he, you know, right,
Landscapers,
right
things like that.
in June, it's getting late at like 5:30 in the morning.
All right.
So.
Yeah. Something we can.
So that's one thing we gotta take a look at. And then there was one of the residents came, to speak about travel baseball, because he wanted his son, because travel baseball in the summer, you have to be at every game. It's the most important, thing for travel baseball, is the summer season is the most important. And last year, his son went to sleepaway camp you know, for the summer season. And he said, oh, I didn't know that it was required. And then Andy told him, you can't do this next year. You're either choosing to play or your son is going to sleepaway camp. So the board sat and, you know, tried to go over all different options, and they couldn't come up with anything that was gonna work. So they basically said, you know, yeah, the rules stay the same. You have to either choose between sleepaway camp or baseball. And, you know, right now, the age bracket, his son played on was at U8. He's gonna be U9 next year. There are 50 kids trying out for that. And, you know, only 24 are gonna make it. So you really wanna make sure that if you're gonna choose to play, that you're gonna be there. So that was a long rec board meeting. I think we got out at like 10 to 9, which is one of the longest rec board meetings I've had to sit through, but it was productive. And then that was the end of it. The rec board, met, there was nothing to report on that. I want to thank the fire department for the 9/11 ceremony that we had for 21 years from that horrible day. But we still are there and remembering, and we've always said we'll never forget. And we were there, and I want to thank them for the wonderful ceremony that they had so that we do not forget. And then I was able to attend the beach party over at the Y. I hope they had a successful fundraiser. Company One, that was a great event. And then that's it. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Tom, you ready?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, some things were said, but since I wrote it down, I'll just repeat it, because see how well my writing was. So as fire commissioner, I was at the fire department's quarterly meeting last night. This is with all our volunteer firefighters from all 3 companies, Company 1, Company 2, Company 3. Joe Alvarez was elected the new assistant chief, who will serve for 2 years, beginning in January. special thank you to Dave Murphy for serving the last 2 years as deputy chief. There was a lively discussion on volunteers, the fact that they are volunteers, and they kind of asked, what could the township do? They recognized that there's many new residents in the town over the past many years, and many in town really don't realize that our fire department and ambulance corps are all volunteers. So Mike just chimed up that, we try to promote them anytime we can. Some things that we ask them to do, they may not understand, but it's all to promote them as the Wykoff Volunteer Fire Department. But we'd be happy to sit down with them and discuss ways that we can foster more awareness, more members, and certainly more appreciation. They're all getting ready, and they went over the game plan with everybody, the fireworks. They brought up the question I had on timing because it was different. They also mentioned, and last year we witnessed it, after the event, about a dozen of the firefighters, the volunteers, go out and they literally clean the field up. And last year was unfortunate because while they were cleaning up the field, everybody, including me, visitors were eating, and then when they get in from the field, they had to whip up some hot dogs that they had stored in a freezer. So despite these hands that have never seen a lot of work, I volunteered to be on the cleanup crew, and we hope to get about a dozen people.
Be sure to get that, Lieutenant.
Yeah, make sure you get that recorded somewhere, because it'll be a picture of a lifetime.
Wait, I have a question. Are you
Yes.
supervising the cleanup crew or
We're actually bending over to pick up trash.
That's a good question.
I'll be there with the cleanup crew. Now, I'm management material from way back, but I will be pitching in. But it was ironic because here is Joe Vanderblatt. He's the fire chief. He's also the superintendent on DPW. And he kind of quipped that, we got to get it done. In the past years, they would do a sweep that night and then come back on Sunday morning and try to clean it up. But now with football scheduled at 9 a.m., they have to get it done that night. And then, of course, he said, we get it done, we get it all cleaned up, only for the DPW to come there on Monday with all the garbage, all the trash. I know I saw Pete is aware of it from DPW side. Tim, you may want to convey that. They're very frustrated with all the garbage, all the whether it be practice, whether it be whatever. I know when I was the liaison to the rec board, I had suggested a few years ago that the home team should be held accountable, that the visiting team clean up. They should clean up. But even when they have practices during the week, it's only our teams. So I know they're frustrated. Pete may want to comment on that. Pete? How frustrated they are, they're always cleaning up over there.
Yeah, there is a lot of garbage that's been left down at the field, so maybe just memo out just for everyone to make sure they just pick up their trash when they leave practice or a sporting event may be helpful.
Right.
Just a friendly reminder.
When's the cleanup after the fireworks, that night?
They do it immediately. They call the
Yeah.
shells.
That
Well,
night?
Yeah, that night. Because they gotta be ready in the morning, or else they wanna report at 7 a.m. and they're already there early, so. Okay, so they don't mind doing it, but it was just ironic, cause Joe said, we get all cleaned up, only to have it trashed again, so Monday we gotta take it away, so. All right, Chamber of Commerce, I went to that meeting this morning. They just switched their Chamber of Commerce meeting from Thursdays, once a month, to Tuesdays. So today was the inaugural Tuesday, it was bananas, it was a nice event, it was a good turnout. Kudos to our DPW on getting the roads done. Matt alluded to Lenny DeBlock's role, which was great, but it was clearly a challenge this year, and we had a couple of things. We had the challenge financially and logistically. So the punchline was, with the paving up over 30%, that meant we had 30% less roads versus what was budgeted back in February. It's killing us. Okay, Wyckoff Day, September 10th. Stopped by that. I was at the beach party, September 8th. Nice tribute ceremony at September 11th at Fire Department number 1. I just want to remind everybody the Greek Festival's this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Should be nice weather. They're looking forward to it, and they're a nice part of our community, and I'm looking forward to going as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Tom. Pete?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. Matt already touched on a few of the subjects, but first I just want to say again, thanks for everyone that worked on the road resurfacing project those 3 weeks. They are a very hectic 3 weeks. Also, our finance committee, who was able to once again budget the proper amount of monies in the budget to, we're in a little bit of a catch-up game on the roads, but we are having evaluation of all the roads by our engineer to determine the quality of the roads and which roads need to be paved. So, you know, we've made great progress in the last few years in the catch-up game, and hopefully we could get into the maintaining phase in the next few years. Unfortunately, I was unable to make the environmental commission meeting last night. I had a work obligation. I was at the planning board meeting last week. I know Rudy will touch on that. And lastly, I also on the 9th, I attended the pep rally down at the field. It was a great success. Ton of people down there. Joe Vanderplaat and the DPW, along with the boosters, in the time they were given to get that snack stand and area around, they did a great job. There's still work to be done down there, but at least they were able to use part of the snack stand to serve refreshments down at the pep rally, and it was great to see all the parents and the children out there for the pep rally. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Pete. I'll start with kind of half apologizing for sort of being out of the game the last 2 weeks for, I'll call it, personal and professional responsibilities. That sounds pretty good. So the only board report I have, as Pete indicated, is the planning board from last week, at which we deemed the application of Adams Farm complete for public hearing in October. It's like a 3-phase plan they have to build a new barn and renovate their greenhouses, replace some of the greenhouses, and then do some additions to some of their other farm buildings up there. So it's a good plan. I think it'll help keep the business in or the site in agriculture, which is what our ultimate aim is here, to work with them. We approved the application of Cedar Hill Shopping Center, which was really an amended parking application. They're going to make some changes which they feel will help the businesses there, and they're also going to eliminate probably 12.5 dumpsters at the back of the building, because every business has its own dumpster, and they're going to replace them with a smaller number of dumpsters and 6-foot enclosures, and it's really going to improve the whole solid waste flow from the shopping center and the entire look of the back of the building. We approved two interesting applications on Steinhauser Lane. 2 neighbors are terracing their backyards. God bless him. And they did sort of a joint application, but they were separate, and they're building walls, and they actually are in for a soil movement permit. And it was an interesting application to have 2 neighbors like that working together to actually improve the runoff and the look of and the terracing of their backyards. We approved an application from Bank of America across the street to install some safety bollards, and that was the planning board. I too attended the beach party that Company 1 had at the Y, which was, as always, a great event. I attended the 9/11 ceremonies, which were very good this year. I think they were moved inside because of the rain, and I think it was actually nicer having them inside, actually. Last Saturday I attended the Shred Fest, and it appeared, I don't know if we have final figures yet, Matt, but the The styrofoam seemed to have increased from the last, the styrofoam collection from the last two or three times we've had. That was good. The paper collection and shredding seemed to be about the same as average, and it looked like the pill drop box was way off. I was talking to the officer who was there, and it looked like it was way off. I'll be interested to see the final figures there. I also, last Saturday afternoon, attended the open house at the Union Cemetery on Franklin Ave, which was well attended by other folks who came to visit. The Historic Society does a great job in the continuing restoration and documenting of historical sites within that cemetery, and we should really be appreciative of what they do there, because otherwise, it was in terrible disrepair, and they raised some money and fixed a lot of the headstones, and now they have walking paths, and it really looks good. I also want to thank the DPW for pushing the repaving project through in 3 weeks. They did a great job. It also appears that we redid Quackenbush, so hopefully that drainage problem or that pooling problem will be corrected there. That was the aim, I guess, right, Tom and Pete?
Seemed like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Cause I saw that too.
Half of Quackenbush.
yeah, half of Quackenbush.
Half of
yeah.
Quackenbush from mid-600s
645.
To Clinton,
To
yeah,
Clinton.
to Clinton, yeah,
Where we were
yeah,
getting most of
yeah.
the
Yeah.
So
complaints,
that was good. And I want to thank everyone who was working on the fireworks this weekend. Tim and Tom and their fireworks committee and the fire department and police, ambulance, and everyone who's working on it. Hope we'll have a great. I see that North Halden is having fireworks the same night. I saw
Really?
the signs just went up over the weekend.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
yeah. And I think that's all I have.
Mayor, I just forgot one
Sure.
thing. Today I also, with Melissa and Matt, attended the opening day for the Economy Shop. It's their 75th year, so there was a
Congratulations to them.
proclamation down there, and they just want to help spread the word that they're open for business. They're looking for donations, especially some men's clothing they're looking for. I have a lot of golf shirts that no longer fit me, unfortunately, anymore, so I'll probably be stopping down there. But please spread, they want us to help spread the
Okay.
word that they're open for business.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Believe it or not, I did leave something out of my report. I just want to report that October 3rd is Fire Prevention Week. So there's flyers out there. Fire Prevention Week, October 3rd. The night of October 3rd, which is a Monday, there's a free family event being held at Company 1 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All kinds of activities. Get on the fire trucks, try the hoses, do several things. It's right here at Company 1, right behind us, and they're working on reaching out and working on details with the schools. So we didn't get into all the details, but in the past, they always went to the schools. They got a bunch of 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, and it's a good event in the middle school. So they're working those details out. Hopefully, they're able to get into schools and help share with the young people the importance of fire prevention. Monday, October 3rd. That's it.
Thanks, Tom. And one more thing before we're all here yet. We have an Eagle Scout Court of Honor coming up. Tom, when is that, October 2nd or?
It's either 1st or the 2nd.
Could we
Look
make
at
a,
my book.
could we, it happens to be Jonathan Bradley's son, he's a member of Company 1. If we could make a note that we have a resolution there, I will be attending. And anyone else is certainly welcome to attend, the more township
It's
committee
the
people
2nd,
that we have.
October 2nd.
Okay, thanks.
Where's it gonna be at?
Firehouse,
Firehouse?
Firehouse 1,
So,
2 p.m.
What is the young man's name?
I don't know.
Colin Bradley,
Colin Bradley?
not so sure of the spelling of Colin, you wanna double check?
Just one other thing, Rudy, I forgot to report. Just reporting on the football teams, the peewees, the juniors, and the seniors are all undefeated right now.
Wow.
And so is Ramapo High School and the Ramapo High School freshmen, which my son's a freshman, so.
How many
Right
games
now-
in? How many games in?
3 games in,
Good.
so,
Good.
yeah.
And the Giants are undefeated as of now, too.
You know what,
Amazing.
I'm not gonna jinx that one, because
Two and oh.
it is amazing that they're 2-0. And all New York football teams and baseball teams won on Sunday.
Including
It was
Buffalo.
a tremendous,
Was it
hasn't happened in a
It was a
while.
4-sweep, it was,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a
Buffalo,
great-
that was the 5th. That's a New
Well,
York
yeah,
team.
we can add, that was last night.
They blew them out.
Rob, anything?
Syracuse won as well.
There you go, good for Syracuse.
Rutgers won too.
Rutgers won as well. Nothing, you guys must be staying out of trouble. Nothing, nothing to report tonight with any urgency.
Very good. And we have no closed session, so I will take a motion to adjourn the work session.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Bloomstrand?
Yes.
With an
The work
affirmative
session
vote,
is
the motion
adjourned.
approved.
Thank you, Nancy.
Gotta go see Janet.
We'll take a
Fun.
27-minute break.
I was gonna mention, I saw you